Trucking Radio.
Coast to coast.
Sirius XM 146. Or listen on the Sirius XM app. Road Dog Trucking News with Mark Willis.
Hello, drivers. One of the top stories this hour from Sirius XM. Seasonal hiring could get more expensive this year, even though many businesses are keeping staff levels fairly flat. That's because retailers, along with warehouse and logistics firms, started their search for holiday season labor unusually early this year, showing how competition is intensified for temporary help in a tight labor market. Data from job search site Indeed.com is showing that a lot of retailers started searching for temporary workers about a month ago, earlier than in recent years. It suggests that companies expect stronger consumer demand and a tougher time finding workers, extending a trend that's seen the holiday sales season start earlier. I'm Mark Willis, right here on the Road Dog.
Road Dog Trucking News. Exclusively on Sirius XM.
Where is Road Nation?
It's where the doers of this great country get things done. Where the rubber meets the road. Where the tough get going. Because if you ain't turning, you ain't learning.
And nobody understands that better than Speedco. While preventative maintenance is our specialty, getting you back on the road is our top priority.
That's why we staff every Speedco with enough experts to service your rig in record time, leaving you free to get on to your destination. Speedco, proud citizen of Road Nation.
Now open off I-90 in Spokane, Washington to provide the service you need no matter where you are.
Now here's a product for truckers that makes a lot of sense. Diesel Cam from Garmin. It not only gives you all those premium trucking navigation features you couldn't live without, there's a built-in dash cam that automatically records any accidents or incidents on the road. And you see everything on a nice big 6-inch display. Check out the all-in-one diesel cam that's loaded with trucker-friendly tools at Garmin.com/diesel. That's Garmin.com/DEZL.
We're on the Weather Channel. Let's check out your north-south interstate travel forecast on this Wednesday, October the 26th. An area of low pressure is going to mean some wet driving conditions for portions of the Great Lakes down across parts of the Midwest into the southern plains as well. If you're going to be traveling along portions of Interstate 75, you're going to run into some rainfall across the Detroit area and down into portions of Ohio. But as you get into the northern parts of Michigan, where the air is colder, there may be some rain mixed with a little bit of light snow over the next several hours. Also, a wet drive along stretches of Interstate 55 out of Chicago heading down toward St. Louis, with the front producing some showers. And if you're going to be traveling along Interstate 35 around Oklahoma City, you may encounter some wet conditions as well. Along Interstate 15 in western Montana, there will be the potential for some showers heading to the evening hours, and an area of low pressure is going to result in rain along Interstate 5 heading from Seattle down towards the Portland area. I'm Jeff Martin with custom weather for drivers twice an hour on the Road Dog Sirius XM 146 and on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
OOIDA, representing America's truckers since 1973, presents Landline Now with your host, Mark Redding.
It's the 135th anniversary of the shootout at the OK Corral. And this is Landline Now. When a shooter entered an office with an intent to kill, 3 young men used their truck to come to a woman's rescue. Reed Black has a report. The after effects of Hurricane Matthew on freight are still being sorted out in the southeast. Terry Scruton talks with Peggy Dorff of DAT for the latest. Reed brings us the story of a trucker buddy who's being recognized for going the extra mile for elementary school students. Oil prices appear to be leveling off as details remain scarce on an OPEC deal to cap production. Will diesel prices follow suit? Terry Scruton takes a closer look. Wyoming is planning to turn Interstate 80 into a connected vehicle highway where trucks and roadside transmitters will talk with one another in real time about weather and road conditions. Reed has that story as well. And finally, 2 boards that advise the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration are meeting this week. And among the topics, possible sleep apnea regulations. I'll get an update from Jay Grimes of OOIDA's Washington, D.C. office. But first, today's headlines. Protesters block lanes on the George Washington Bridge. A former Aero Truck official complains about his prison sentence. And one way to deal with an unhappy redder. And now, the news with Reed Black.
Thanks, Mark.
In New York City, the eastbound upper-level lanes of the George Washington Bridge were blocked by protesters during the morning rush hour today, causing an hour-and-a-half traffic backup. CBS reports 10 people were arrested. They were carrying a banner saying, "Organize, rise up," and they were calling for rights for immigrants. Some of the commuters who were blocked shouted obscenities at the protesters. In California, federal crash investigators say the tires on a